Good news of the day. Jesus Christ died for our sins and has given you eternal life. He loves you infinitely and wants you to join him in eternal life in heaven with the Father and the Holy Spirit. You are valuable and important to him, and you have great worth in his eyes. If you are struggling or going through something difficult, you will get through it. You are strong. Jesus loves you and is with you. He is ready to be accepted into your heart at any time. Ask for forgiveness for your sins and accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, and you will be saved. Please know how loved and special you are and how you are an irreplaceable child of God. Stay strong and take care of yourself. Hey guys, I just wanted to pop in before the video starts and let you all know that I did record this before Sumeru dropped, so new characters like Sino, Nahida, Nilu, etc. won't be in this video. The newest characters I included were Yulan and Haijo, I think, so thanks for being understanding about that. I also wanted to put in a quick spoiler warning for pretty much everything before Sumeru, including some hangout and story quests for characters, although a lot of time in this tier list I don't go into crazy detail about what happened in those, but I do definitely mention some stuff that happened. So I just want to put that spoiler warning in for anyone who isn't totally caught up before Sumeru. Like I said, I don't talk about anything Sumeru in this video. So that's all. Thanks again. Enjoy the tier list. Hey guys, today we're going to be doing a tier list video. My sister gave me this idea. It's going to be a Genshin Impact tier list video. So if you guys don't know, I made a Genshin Impact video called Everyone Treats the Traveler Like Trash. And my sister gave me this idea to rank all of the characters based on how much they treat the traveler like trash. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the tiers that I made. So S tier, I renamed them, is treats the traveler like the king/queen they are. So that's going to be characters like Paimon, basically, who just are super nice to the traveler. So the next one is going to be a real homie. So these are characters that treat the traveler pretty well. They're a really good friend to the traveler, but they're not peak. And then the next one is passes the vibe check. So they treat the traveler pretty decently, I would say, if they're in passes the vibe check. But it's nothing amazing. The next one is indifferent classmate. So I put this one as basically it's they're more neutral or indifferent towards the traveler, so they don't actively take advantage of the traveler, but they also don't do anything to help the traveler. So that's what indifferent classmate is. Selfish asshole is pretty self-explanatory, I think. It's just they're an asshole and they treat the traveler just as a tool for their own things. And then our final one is Ayaka vampire. Okay, this may not make sense if you haven't seen my video about how everyone treats the traveler like trash, but basically I just think Ayaka takes a lot from the traveler, and she doesn't really give anything in return. I just don't like her. I'm not gonna lie, it's a personal bias. I really don't like her, so I call her the vampire because she's draining everything from the traveler. And anyway, so more people than just Ayaka can be in this tier, but it's basically anyone who takes from the traveler and never gives them anything in return. So this is a tier list, a pre-made one. I obviously adjusted it with all the characters from 2.6, and we're gonna add the few that were added after. I'll do it at the end. I believe it's only Shinobu and Haijo, and then I think I'll add Paimon at the end too. And we all know where Paimon's going, but anyway, so I thought we'd just go ahead and get started. These are in a pretty random order, so we're just going to go with the order that the tier list had them in. So we're going to start with Albedo. And I think Albedo is pretty nice to the traveler, to be honest. He seems like a good guy, but I mean, we're not going to lie. Pretty much every time he sees the traveler, he drags them into his bullshit, his experiments or whatever. In the first story quest with Albedo, he just wants to basically study us, and he's let me study you. And then later, he's also when we meet up with him in Dragonspine, once again, he just wants us to either test Festering Desire out or help him with his twin doppelganger issues. So I don't think he's horrible. I just think he is a scientist, so he's kind of just doing his own thing. So because of that, I think we're going to put him in indifferent classmate, or I think he's between passes the vibe check and indifferent classmate, but because he doesn't do anything actively helpful towards the traveler, I'm going to put him in indifferent classmate. So Alloy, I'm not sure where to put her, to be honest, because we've never canonically interacted with her, because I'm not even sure if she's canon. Does she even exist in the world of Teyvat, or is it just so I don't know. So I think for Alloy for now, we're just going to leave her in indifferent classmate, because it's we don't even know if her and the traveler have canonically met each other, and I don't even know if she's canon. So we're just going to put her with Albedo. You can't go wrong with the tier kind of in the middle.
So now for Amber, okay, I really, really love Outrider Amber. She's great, and I do feel like she shows actual concern for the Traveler. Like, I love how, like, the standards are so low, because everyone treats the Traveler so bad. Like, I remember specifically in Mondstadt in the Archon quest, when the Traveler gets sucked up by Dvalin, and then they come back down, she runs up and she's like, "Are you okay?" and stuff. And she also tries to help us get our gliding license. She's, like, personally, like, kind of coaching us on that. So while Amber definitely isn't, like, breaking her back to help the Traveler, I do think she seems to genuinely be interested in the Traveler and care about the Traveler's well-being. Like, she invites us to a meal, and she says she's going to miss us when we leave Mondstadt. So I definitely feel some genuine human connection there. And once again, the standards are so low. So we're going to, like, we're going to go ahead and put Amber in, I'm going to say passes the vibe check. She may go into a real homie, but honestly, like, I feel like Amber's just someone who's super nice, so she just, like, cares. I don't think she's, like, you know, I don't know, a true trusted friend of the Traveler in, like, a deep way. They're just, like, you know, kind of, like, casual friends, I feel like, but she definitely does care about the Traveler's well-being. So that's why we're going to put her in passes the vibe check, because Queen Outrider Amber definitely passes the vibe check. She's got good vibes. So next we're going to go on to Ito. Once again, these are just in a super random order. So Ito, he honestly, real homie, I'm not going to lie. That's like what I want to put him in, but I'm trying to think back, like, based it on stuff actually in the game. So, like, he invites us to his Drum Along Festival in that one event, and that was really sweet of him. And in his story quest, like, one thing I liked is he wasn't actively asking the Traveler for anything. He was, like, trying to handle that shit on his own, and he was dealing with his own issues. And like, the Traveler just sticks around because they're a good person. So I really like that he didn't, like, actively try to take advantage of the Traveler or anything like that. But honestly, even though I want to put him in a real homie, I don't even think I can, because once again, I just don't remember, like him and the Traveler just haven't interacted enough, and he hasn't, like, done enough to prove himself as a true homie. Like, don't get me wrong, Ito's a real homie, but I don't know if he is specifically to the Traveler. Like, in my head, I don't doubt that Ito would take a bullet for the Traveler if necessary, but I'm going on stuff that can be verifiable in the game from story quests and Archon quests and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put Ito in passes of the vibe check, because I feel like he isn't indifferent. Like, he invited us to the Drum Along Festival, but I don't think he's quite at the level of a real homie in terms of his treatment of the Traveler. So now we got little Barbara here, okay? So Barbara is, like, a little interesting, because I will fully admit, like, I have not done all the endings on her hangout quest. In fact, I only have one, and it was a nice little hangout quest, and, like, the only other time we see her is in the Midsummer Island event from last year. She's there, and then also at the very end of the Mondstadt Archon quest, she kind of makes, like, a cameo or whatever. But we do see her, like, I feel like her and the Traveler just don't interact that much. Like, in the hangout, we just kind of bump into her in the forest, and we end up helping her out. Once again, I feel like that's mostly the Traveler helping Barbara, though, not the other way around. At the end of the Archon quest in Mondstadt, Barbara does kind of run up to the Traveler, who's, like, fallen on the ground, and is like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And the Traveler's, like, you know, like, getting up and is like, "Where's Venti?" and stuff like that. So that's, like, obviously care and concern, but, like, Barbara's a healer and a nun, and she seems like a sweet girl, so I feel like she would be that way, like, about almost anyone. Like, I don't know, like, not unfortunately, but it doesn't show, like, this really close bond with the Traveler. So I'm gonna have to put Barbara in passes the vibe check, because once again, I feel like she cares, but, like, she just hasn't proven herself as a true homie yet. So that's where we're going to put her. So moving on to Beto. I gotta do it. Okay, I gotta do it to her. Okay, listen. This is, like, not even saying, like, Beto's an asshole overall. Beto seems like a really good person. Like, in her CP story, her companionship story, she, like, actively, like, helps the poor. She's, like, the opposite of Ningguang, who's just, like, there's literally nothing about Ningguang that's redeeming. But Beto's just, like, a really cool lady. But we're talking specifically about her treatment of the Traveler. And, like, while she isn't outright, like, rude to the Traveler, I have a whole section about her in my Everyone Treats the Traveler Like Trash video, and, like, basically she makes the Traveler, like, fight in her martial arts tournament for, like, a ticket to Inazuma on her boat, basically. And I just felt like that was a pretty asshole move of her, because, like, basically it's, like, kind of, like, forcing the Traveler to participate in the martial arts tournament, even though they probably didn't want to, because, like, Beto knows she's one of the only people that can get the Traveler to Inazuma, so, like, definitely kind of extorting that power she has. And also, like, the traveler helped save her city from like an actual water god, and she couldn't spare like, you know, like a boat ride out of the goodness of our heart. We had to like earn it for her from her, and that was always a little weird to me. Hello, Rumpelstiltskin. If you hear meowing, that's my cat, one of my cats. But anyway, that's always bothered me about Beto, so in selfish asshole she goes. And once again, just in regards to her treatment of the traveler, she seems like a really great woman overall. Like, she helped, like, the resistance fighters on Watatsumi when she didn't have to. So yeah, she seems like a good person overall. Just to the traveler, I think she's a little sus. Alright, we're gonna go with Bennett, okay? Now, I think I'm gonna have to put Bennett into either a real homie or passes the vibe check, because I'm trying to think of, like, canon interactions with Bennett. It's just the Hangout quest, I believe, and then Windbloom, and then, what else was he in? He was in the second Albedo winter event, snowstorms amidst the snow, sorrows amidst the snowstorms, shadows amidst the snowstorms. Was it that? That sounds close. Anyway, and, like, he's really nice, and he, like, looks up to the traveler, so, like, that's really sweet. But I don't really, like, I mean, like, overall, Bennett's a real homie. But I don't know if, like, he's gone out of his way that much for the traveler. I mean, once again, I have no doubt that he would. He would definitely take a bullet for the traveler, but, like, I'm trying to think of in-game stuff. I'm trying to think of, like, in Windbloom, like, their interactions. Yeah, I mean, they were just, like, they were obviously nice to each other, and, like, Bennett, he ran off to try to, like, save Barbara, and he ended up getting, like, captured with Razor in that random trap. So, I don't know. I really want to put him in a real homie, but I think I gotta put him in passes the vibe check. Like, I swear, you guys see why I made a whole video ranting about how everyone treats the traveler like garbage? Literally, look, no one has made it to a real homie tier. Even though, like I said, some of these characters, I really want to put them there, but it's just, like, the evidence in-game is just not there. So, like, I can't go on, like, you know, fandom interpretation or my own interpretation of these characters. So it's just sad. Poor traveler. No real friends. Everyone just want to use them. Okay, so we're going to go to Chongyun. Chongyun, once again, is a little difficult because we don't have that many interactions with him, like, actually in, like, the canon game. We have his Hangout event, and then he kind of pops up here and there in, like, little cameos, and, like, Lantern Rite 2 comes to mind, or, like, I think he has a cameo in Moon Chase, but, like, honestly, Chongyun deserves more spotlight. Like, he really doesn't get that much spotlight in the game, I think, and, like, in the Hangout quest, he's, like, very nice to us, but, like, once again, it's mostly us encouraging him and, like, you know, being there for him, which is super, super sweet, but I just, like, you know, I don't know, like, he doesn't really go out of his way for the traveler that much, even though he does seem appreciative of the traveler. So, we're gonna put Chongyun in, like, maybe honestly a different classmate. He's gonna go in there. Because I don't even think he's at, like, Amber or, like, Barbara's level. Like, I can't think of, like, a specifically really, like, kind act that he does. I feel like a lot of the Hangout, we're, like, kind of babysitting him. In, like, the best way. I love Chongyun. But anyway, so we're gonna put him in a different classmate. So we're on to Diluc, Daddy Ragnarvinder. We love to see it. I'm trying to think. So, honestly, Diluc might go and passes the vibe check or in different classmate, because we helped Diluc out a lot, like, in the Dark Knight Hero quest and the Archon quest, but I feel like he never really goes out of his way to, like, thank us, and, like, you know, I think he does in the bartending event. He's like, oh, thanks for saying that kind thing to me. But once again, I don't really remember him going out of his way for the traveler that much, even though we help him, like, a lot. So it's a little sus, Diluc. So I'm going to go ahead and put him in a different classmate. That's just where I feel like he belongs, you know? All right, moving on to Diona. Okay, so Diona, we only know her from her event, or her Hangout event. I'm pretty sure that's her only canon appearance. And yeah, I'm gonna put her in selfish asshole, because, like, Diona's really just doing her own thing there, and, like, we're just tagging along. I think because we want her to make us a drink or something. I don't really remember that Hangout event that well, even though I have a couple endings on it. So I just feel like Diona, like, does she give that much shit about the traveler? Does she even really know who we are? We're just somebody who came to her bar and was like, give us a drink or something. So we're going to put Diona in selfish asshole. And once again, it doesn't mean she's necessarily a selfish asshole overall. It just means her treatment of the traveler. And she's a child, so, like, we're not trying to judge her that harshly. This is just for fun. All right, so we're on to Eula. So we help Eula out a lot. Like, we help her like stop that plot of her family and stuff. But at the same time, I feel like that was more like for Mondstadt, not really for her. And this isn't about like what the Traveler does for them. It's what they do for the Traveler. So in that, I'm gonna have to put her in selfish asshole. I really can't remember like anything that Eula does specifically for the Traveler. Like, she does help the Traveler out a little bit with like learning Lauren's clan customs so that Schubert will talk to us. But at the same time, like, that could be like because she wanted to find out the truth of her family, like if they really were involved in like a treachery plot against Mondstadt, or because that's her duty as a knight to help us with that. So I don't really think like, I don't think she was just doing that because she like liked us or she was being kind. So anyway, she's going in selfish asshole. All right, Fischl. So Fischl actually seems to genuinely like the Traveler and spending time with them. Like, she says so in Unreconciled Stars, and then in the Midsummer Island quest, I believe she says something similar, and like she does invite the Traveler like to the islands, and that's really sweet of her actually. Like, this was really important to her to go to the Midsummer Island in this summer's event, and like that she thought of the Traveler and was like, I'm gonna like invite them, and like she wanted us to be a part of that. So honestly, guys, we might have it. Our first real homie to the Traveler. Because, like, I don't know, I just feel like Fischl, like, expresses gratitude to the Traveler, seems to genuinely enjoy the Traveler's company, and, like, tries to repay that favor. For example, inviting us to the islands. Like, she wanted to make sure we were a part of that moment, which was special to her, and so that we could have a good summer, too. So I feel like Fischl deserves her spot in a real homie. And, like, her and Oz, they're kind of a package deal. So her and Oz, true homies. So, yeah, congratulations, Fischl. You're our first real homie. So, moving on to Ganyu, really, she just appears in, like, the Archon quest for, like, 2 seconds, and then she imbues the Traveler with, like, some of her Adepti power in, like, the final boss battle against Osayo, but, like, all the other Adepti do that, and, like, that was for leeway. It wasn't, like, necessarily for the Traveler. And then in her story event, once again, we're more helping her get over her issues. And, like, honestly, we don't even do that much for her. But she's not really going out of her way for the Traveler. So, I'm thinking either, I'm going to say Indifferent Classmate, because I don't remember, like, once again, I feel like it's kind of similar to Ito. I just, like, feel like Ito's a little warmer towards the Traveler. But, like, because, like, we're kind of just showing up and, like, following her around. But it's, like, she doesn't do anything actively to take advantage of us because she didn't even ask for our help in the first place. So it's, like, I feel like she fits Indifferent Classmate more than Selfish Asshole. Alright, we got the boy Goro, okay? Goro literally is, like, my absolute favorite, okay? I think I know where he's going. Hold on, not there. A real homie, okay? So the reason I put him here is because of our camaraderie with him. Like, I'm using we because, Traveler's a self-insert, so I'll try to say the Traveler, but sometimes I might make a mistake. And if I say we or us, that's who I'm referring to. I'm referring to, like, the Traveler still. Oh my gosh, Rumples, you look so funny right now. I'm sorry, cat's distracting. But anyway, like when Sara is like, give over the Traveler and like, we'll let you guys go or whatever. Goro's like, not on your life. And this man has known us for like 5 minutes and he's literally ready to die for us. Like that is loyalty. That is like the loyalty of like a dog. And like we respect it, Goro. I really love Goro. In his hangout event too, like we do spend a lot of it like helping him, but like I don't know, like Goro just has like this generosity about him and like a literally like give you like the shirt off his back kind of guy, and like I think that is shown in the story and in his treatment of the Traveler. So I feel very comfortable putting him in a real homie. He could almost go into treats the Traveler like the king queen that they are, but I don't think he's quite at that level, so we're gonna put him in a real homie. So next character we're going to do is Hu Tao. So I feel like Hu Tao definitely just kind of has us start working for her. Like when we meet her, she doesn't like ask what we need or what we want or try to help us. She's just kind of in it for herself. And I feel like she really has us just like run circles around for like no reason. So honestly, she's either Selfish Asshole or Ayaka Vampire. And I don't really, I'm going to go ahead and put her in Ayaka Vampire because I just remember, like, I could be wrong, but in her story quest, which is, like, basically her own, like, substantial amount of screen time, I just feel like she really just has to do a lot, and she didn't give us anything in return. I don't even remember how we ended up getting involved with her, but yeah, so I'm going to put her in that tier because I literally can't remember, like, doing anything but really working for her. without payment, I may add. So Jean, all right. Okay, so if you're confused by why Jean's in this tier, I have a whole section on Jean in my Everyone Treats the Traveler Like Trash video. And basically, like, we do a lot for her and her city. We literally help her, like, defeat a dragon. Like, without the Traveler purifying Dvalin's tears, like, Venti, her, and Diluc may have had to, like, kill Dvalin. And, like, that would obviously be extremely traumatizing for everyone involved. And, like, you know, really, really shitty for Dvalin. So, like, that's really unfortunate in that respect. I just zoomed in the screen a little bit for you guys. I think that might be a little better for you. But anyway, so, and she just, like, never, like, pays the Traveler for anything. Like, we literally don't get any mora, any reward from her. We were literally homeless at the time. I talk about this in the video. And she doesn't even give us, like, offer us a room to stay in at, like, an inn in Mondstadt or at the Knights of Favonia's headquarters. Like, she couldn't spare a warm room when we were literally sleeping on the dirt. And, like, once again, we just do a lot for her city, and she just doesn't really seem to care. So, and, like, once again, when we talk to her in the Eula quest, we, like, come in and she immediately has a job for us. She's not like, how are you, Traveler, or whatever. You know, like, what can I do for you? Like, no. So, anyway, she's going in that Yaka Vampire tier. Alright, we got my boy Kazuha. Alright, I think we're gonna put him in either passes the vibe check or a real homie. Let me think. Okay, so the first one is in the prologue with Beidou of the Inazuma story. That's his first canon appearance, I believe. I don't really remember him, like, doing too much there. Like, we help him catch a thief at the end. He tells us his backstory. He seems to genuinely like the Traveler. In his second story quest, we're just kind of, like, chilling with him and stuff. I don't really remember him, like, doing anything super nice for the Traveler, though. He does actually, you know what? I thought of something. He's going in real homie. You know why? I remembered. He saves the Traveler from the, what is it? The Muso no Hitatachi? That sounds right. Raiden's, like, super blade attack. He's, like, the only human, because I don't believe the Traveler's a human, that's sus, to ever, like, parry it with the help of his, like, friend's dead vision that comes back to life momentarily to help him. And he saves us, and he totally risked his life for us in that instance. Because, once again, we could have just died. And, like, honestly, him literally risking his life for us, almost makes me want to put him in Treats the Traveler like the king/queen they are. But we're going to hold off for now. Maybe I'll make adjustments at the end. But that is a really big thing that he does. So I'm going to put him in a real homie, like, tier. And, like, maybe I'll change this. Because I feel like maybe this. But, yeah, he literally risked his life for the Traveler. And, like, yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. So Kazuha's going in a real homie. So now Traveler has 3 actual friends. Wow, that's great. Oh no, my man, I'm gonna be so biased. Like, I can't though. It's not like I can actually put Kaya, like, in these higher tiers. Come on. Like, one of the first things we do with Kaya is, like, he basically lies to us so that we can help him do his work. And he has us go on a stupid treasure hunt to, like, test our trustworthiness. So, he's so sussy. He, like, always has been sussy, and, like, I'm so sick of him. I'm just kidding. I love him so much. And then, like, he has a lot of other, like, we meet him he does kind of like us, though. Like, at the end of the Archon quest, he's like, oh, I thought we enjoyed, like, an intimate friendship. But it's Kaya, so, like, I don't mean to sound like Diluc, but you really can't trust, like, half the words that come out of his mouth. So, like, I don't really know how much, like, Kaya genuinely likes the Traveler and how much it's, like, Kaya's doing this for his own ends because, well, he's Kaya. Like, what do you think? And I'm trying to think of other things. He does help us out sometimes. Like, I remember in the first Lantern, right, we find, like, a treasure hoarder symbol, and we're like, Kaya will know what this is, and, like, that's so funny. We, like, literally are like, oh, yeah, this cop, he's basically a cop, will definitely know, like, this criminal organization thing. And, like, he literally, like, introduces us to an informant in that quest, too, which is, like, I have a theory, I might post it on my channel at one point, that he is, like, I mean, other people have said it, I'm pretty sure, but, like, he's in the Treasure Hoarders, or I actually think he's, like, a regional leader of the Treasure Hoarders in Mondstadt, but that's just a personal theory. But he's definitely a sus guy. But wait, this isn't about how sus he is, and of course it's Kai, so I'm gonna end up talking about him for, like, 5 minutes. Honestly, that's, like, pretty risky for him to do, because if he says that, I guess he could say it was for police work, like, oh, I had an informant for police work, so that they could inform me of stuff and I could arrest people, but, I don't know, pretty sussy. But since he trusts us with that information, honestly, oh, that's hard. Because he, like, tricks us, but he also, like, helps us. I'm trying to think of other instances. Like, when we're at the bartending event, he shows up right away and he wants us to make him an alcoholic beverage because, you know, alcoholic. But, like, I guess you could be like, oh, he wants to see the traveler right away, but also he's kind of teasing us because he's asking us to make a really hard cocktail on our first day, but, like, that could be, like, loving teasing. Oh, gosh, I'm definitely biased with Kaya. I'm trying to think of, like, other canon appearances of Kaya in the story because, like, the more evidence I have, like, I can make up a better decision. And, like, I feel like on the Summer Islands, he's just kind of there, like, to make sure everything's going well and, like, to check on D-Luke and to find treasure, although I really doubt that's what his letter said. I think Alice said some other sus stuff. But anyway, as strange as this is, I think for now we're going to put Kaya in passes the vibe check simply because he was willing to give up his literal informants to us. I think like multiple times actually. Like, I think he in one point puts us in contact with Vile. I think that's in his first quest. And then the second time he shows us Nimrod in the first Lantern Rite. So we can debate this one, but I'm going to put him in passes the vibe check. Although there is an argument for indifferent classmate, I think. Maybe even selfish asshole. Kai should probably be here. But I'm going to put him here because I'm biased and I'm a simp. So he's got to be up here. Alright. So, done. Go watch my video if you don't know why. She just asked the traveler for so much and she guilt trips the traveler when the traveler says no. Like, she literally doesn't know about consent. And then, like, she fucking forces us to learn about her dead mom after we became a terrorist for her. And, like, it's all about what she wants and what she needs. And, like, I just really don't like her. And I think she really takes advantage of the traveler's kindness. And, like, yeah, no wonder she has no friends. She only knows how to take and she doesn't know how to give. So that's not surprising. Okay, so her brother Ayato honestly I feel like is between these two tiers. See, the thing is, one thing I respect about Ayato though is he just fully admits he's using us. So like when we ask him, we're like, why are we tagging along? Like in his story quest, he makes us like go talk to those two like Inazuman clan heads or whatever, and they're gonna get married. And I like literally, if you think about that quest, Ayato is literally trying to wreck a wedding or like a soon-to-be wedding, and it's like sus. But anyway, he literally admits that he's using us because he like hates small talk, and it's like gonna get him a foot in the door easier, basically. So like I respect that he's at least willing to admit that he uses us, but like he definitely is just using us. Like he's not doing anything for like our benefit. He's just like making us do work for him. Anyway, so I don't know if his honesty should put him in selfish answer. I'm gonna put him in Ayako Vampire because really, like, he's kind of, I guess she learned it from somewhere, to be honest. All right, we're gonna move on to Kaching. Now, Kaching has been like in both. No. She featured in like Moonchase Festival and then Lantern Rite 2 Electric Boogaloo. Also have a video by that on my channel if you want to check it out. I don't really know where to put her, to be honest. I definitely don't think she's a selfish asshole. I don't know. I think maybe Indifferent Classmate is the one with her because I feel like she doesn't really care if the traveler's there or not. Like, in Moonchase, I feel like she's mostly trying to bond with Shang Lin. And then, in, what's the other one she's in? In Lantern Rite, she's, like, mostly busy working and we just keep pestering her. So I'm gonna put her, in Indifferent Classmate. I think that's a good place for her. Alright, Klee's so sweet. Like, I don't know how to rate the children. Like, can you rate a child for, like, if they do nice things or not? That seems kind of cruel. I don't really know where to put Klee. Like, we spend time with her, but once again, we're mostly babysitting her. But I definitely think she, like, likes the traveler. So I'm gonna put Klee and definitely passes the vibe check because she definitely has warm feelings for the traveler. But, like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to rate the children. But that somehow fits Iona. But anyway, but we're going to put her in passes the vibe check. I think that's good. Alright, Sarah. I want to say selfish asshole. Like, Sarah's kind of hard to judge because we see her in, like, the Archon quest mostly as, like, an enemy. Or, like, an antagonist. And then we see her in the Iridori Festival when she's, like, being a fucking simp and, like, buying a figurine of the Raiden Shogun. But, like, she doesn't really do anything for the traveler. I don't even think they're really friends. I do remember in the Labyrinth Warriors, like, we help out the, what are they called? the samurai under her command that are controlling the monsters from the Labyrinth Warrior domain that they're spilling out of. And she says she's gonna repay our kindness. So maybe she's like a complete asshole. Honestly, maybe passes the vibe check. That was a big jump, but like I rewatched that event pretty recently with my sister, and I do remember her saying repeatedly that she would repay us for our services. So it's like at least like she's doing the bare minimum, you know? So just for that, I guess we're gonna put her in passes the vibe check. Once again, that one's maybe up for debate, but I don't know. I'm just going off like my instincts a little bit. Oh, Lisa! Like, I don't know what to do about Lisa. She obviously likes the Traveler. Maybe a little too much. I'm scared. Please, get me out of here. I need an adult. But anyway, I'm just not sure where she goes, because it's like, I remember like when she takes us on that date, and like, she kind of is like asking us to like buy her things, which is like kind of strange. But at the same time, she seems like genuinely to want to spend time with us. And like I remember in the Midsummer Island quest, she like looks up the Golden Apple Archipelago for us and stuff, which like, you know, she was also doing for Klee. So I don't really know. I'm gonna put Lisa in passes the vibe check. Like, I don't know. I just feel like she's kind enough to the Traveler. I've never like interacted with Lisa as a player and been like, damn, she's just really like, you know, taken advantage of us. I don't know. I don't get that vibe from her. So I'm going to go ahead and put her in passes the vibe check. All right, Mona. So Mona was originally going to be lower because like in her story quest, she's really just doing stuff. I don't really remember why she's like basically makes us pretend to be her disciple, and she agrees to give us a reading in return, but then she can't even do that, and I feel like she isn't even that apologetic, and we like help her with like a lot, like we literally pretend to be her disciple sort of, and like, yeah, I just feel like she could have repaid that more. So she was going to be lower, but then like in the most recent summer event, she has that whole little nice scene where she comes up on the little hill with the Traveler, and she's like, you know, you're actually a really nice person, like, we appreciate you. And then she gets all flustered because, like, prideful, like, tsundere kind of esque energy. So I'm gonna put her in passes the vibe check. I feel like passes the vibe check is gonna get kind of long, but it's like that, I feel like is the most, that and Indifferent Classmate are like the most common, and I was gonna put her here, or maybe here, but I think because of that nice statement, she's gonna go and pass the vibe check. And once again, it just shows how like low the standards are. Like, you say one kind thing to the Traveler or Kaya, you literally like trick the Traveler and lie to them, but then you do some one nice thing and then you're in this tier because like the standards are just really low. But I think that's a good place for Mona. Ningguang. Literally, we do so much for her fucking city, and like, yeah, she just doesn't care. She doesn't give us one red cent. Like, it is so sad. We've literally saved her city twice now. We rebuilt her whole house in the Leeway Archon interlude, like, epilogue thingy-mabobby, and we're supposed to get paid in a question, but she literally cuts the Traveler off and never gives us a chance to ask another question. So she's literally like maybe the worst, like maybe even worse than Ayaka. I don't know, but like these aren't like ranked that way. We're just gonna put them like, these aren't ranked any particular way. I just like put them there, but like she's really bad. I have a whole section in that video where I rant about Ningguang too, because she's really bad. Like, you know, the Traveler's literally helped your city out so many times, and you personally, and like she just doesn't care. She doesn't really give us anything. She doesn't even seem to like be that grateful. So yeah, she's really sus. I've never really liked her, and by that I mean I don't like her. I got beef. I got beef with Ningguang because she just doesn't treat the Traveler well at all. All right, Miss Noelle. Okay, Noelle is one that's going to be a little hard for me again because I have played her Hangout, but only like one route, kind of similar to Barbara's. Like, I just kind of tried it out. Noelle seems like a very like sweet girl. I mean, she's obviously very nice. But I don't really like remember her doing anything like that nice for the Traveler, like, or going out of her way. But I definitely think she's like kind and would care about the Traveler if something happened. And like she seems very caring in like her voice lines, although like I'm not really counting voice lines because like I don't know if those are canon, because it's like you become like very deep friends with each of them when you reach like, you know, the higher levels like companionship points, but like those relationships don't really seem to carry across into the actual story of the game. So I'm not going to count those. So in that case, I'm going to have to put Noelle in, I'm going to put her in passes the vibe check. I feel like she honestly belongs in Indifferent Classmate, but Noelle's just such a sweet girl, so I feel like I can't put her there. Like, calling Noelle indifferent Feels very cursed. So we're going to put her in passes the vibe check, even though I'm not really sure she even belongs there. But you know what? It's my video, so that's what we're going to do. Alright, now we got Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi is, like, hard to judge because, like, Chi-Chi barely does anything. She shows up in the Archon quest, like, one time, and she asks for cocoa milk. And then, what else? That's, like, basically all she does, right? Then we talk to her in, like, Lantern Rite 2 or maybe Moon Chase. She's just, like, cute zombie child. I don't think she really, like, likes or dislikes the Traveler, so I'm going to put her in different classmate. I think that's a good place for Chi-Chi. Alright, Raiden. I feel like, okay, this is like, okay, I think this is the best place for her because unlike these bitches, I feel like Raiden doesn't ask a lot of us. We just kind of insert ourselves into her business because, like, it would be like if you saw Kim Jong-un and you, like, had the power to do something about it. So, like, we basically are trying to stop her from, like, oppressing her people and being, like, literally, like, Kim Jong-un. So, yeah, and she's definitely an asshole and she doesn't do anything for the Traveler. But at the same time, I don't feel like she's going out of her way and, like, asking us for favor after favor like these characters down here at the bottom are without repaying us for any of them. So I feel like Selfish Asshole is, like, the right place for Raiden to be. Alright, Razor. I love Razor a lot. I don't really think he does anything particularly kind for the Traveler, though. We just kind of meet him and, like, you know, we get to know him a little bit. And, like, he seems really cool. Like, I really like Razor. But I'm going to have to put him in a different classmate. I just don't think him and the Traveler are that close. And I feel like this is a good place for him. Alright, Rosaria. Correct me if I'm wrong, but hasn't Rosaria, like, only appeared in, like the Archon quest? Oh, no. She appears in, like, a tiny cameo in the first Stain quest, but also in Albedo's story event. That's where she's actually introduced. And she's, like, spying on him to make sure he isn't, like, a threat to Mondstadt, which, like, sus. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. We don't really know Rosaria, like, at all in canon, but she doesn't ask us for anything. So I would say she's indifferent because, like, she's not, like, outright hostile towards the Traveler, but she also doesn't ask us for anything, and she definitely doesn't pass that vibe check. So I think indifferent classmate's a good place for her. Alright, Kokomi. Now, this is getting difficult because Kokomi clearly really likes the Traveler. Like, it says in her little journal, like, oh, I saw the Traveler and, like, my energy went up or whatever. Which, anyway, I always thought, like, that was a metaphor for, like, kind of depression because, like, when you're depressed, you have no energy. But then I didn't see anyone talking about that. So I was like, was I the only one that thought the game was implying that Kokomi had depression? Maybe that was just, like, a personal take. And I was like, that was sad because I was like, Happy Fish Girl is actually depressed. But, I mean, I would be too if I were her. I mean, she has, like, a really tough life. And, like, I'm sure being the leader of an army, like, you do not sleep well at night thinking of, like, your men that, like, have died because of your orders and stuff. So it's rough, man. But anyway, I'm trying to think of specifically her and the Traveler together. Like, she definitely asks the Traveler for a lot of favors. And she doesn't really repay us that much, honestly. So, man, sorry to do it to you, but man, the two different rulers are, like, both in the Selfish Asshole tier. Like, I don't know, I just feel like we help her out a lot and she doesn't really repay us that much. I mean, I say in my my long form video about this topic that, like, we literally defeat the Raiden Shogun and we end the war, basically. Like, the war that she's been fighting, but, like, I feel like she doesn't even acknowledge that or thank us for that. And, like, they have a victory feast, but it's not even for the Traveler. Like, in my video, I kind of, like, my words get twisted, and I say, like, they had a victory feast for us, but it's not for us. It's just because Watatsumi, like, won. It was, like, a peace treaty, but whatever. It was a ceasefire. They basically won. They got what they wanted. But it's, like, most of that was because of the Traveler. But Kokomi just, like, never acknowledges it. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Selfish Asshole. She just kind of uses the Traveler for her own ends, and she doesn't seem concerned, like, when we're trying to run off to, like, avenge Tepe's death. But, like, I don't know. Wouldn't she be concerned for any one of her soldiers? Maybe that gets her. No, you know what? I want to kind of put her in passes the vibe check for that, but I think that I'm letting her off too easy. We've done so much for her, and I just feel like she has not repaid the favor enough. Alright, we're gonna move on to Sayu. Sayu's adorable. And okay, this is where I'm really getting handicapped because I have not played the Sayu Hangout event. So I do not know what her and the Traveler's relationship is like in that. But I'm assuming because she's a child, children usually just like think about themselves, which there's nothing wrong with that. Children just, that's how their brains work. So I'm going to go ahead and put Sayu in Indifferent Classmate just because I have not played her Hangout event yet. And like the very short amount of time she appears in the Archon Quest, she just kind of does her job and then leaves. So I feel like this is like a good place where like I can't fuck it up too much. It's just like neutral basically. Moving on to Shenhe. Okay, Shenhe. Hold on. Gotta go up. Alright, okay. I have an explanation for this, okay? Shenhe really, really likes the Traveler, and, like, Shenhe got, like, angry and stuff when, like, the Traveler got hurt, and then she, like, froze the ocean. It was, like, badass and stuff, and I don't know, I just feel like Shenhe treats the Traveler very well and is very considerate towards the Traveler, so, like, I feel like Shenhe is, like, an actual friend to the Traveler. Like, they actually bonded, talked. I feel like Shenhe enjoys the Traveler's presence and wants to do things for them and help them and protect them. So, you know what, I'm gonna put Shenhe up here, you know? Treats the Traveler like the king/queen they are. Also, like, Aether X her is a pretty cute ship. I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of adorable. But anyway, that would be weird. Like if like Aether marries her and then he's like Chongyun's uncle. That's so fucking weird. It's very funny though. But anyway, potential ships aside, I think that this is a good place for Shenhe. Alright, we got Sucrose. Sucrose is so sweet. But, like, honestly, I can't remember her doing that much for the Traveler. She, like, honestly, I feel like she doesn't get justice. Like, she's not in a lot of stuff. She appears very briefly at the beginning of an Albedo story quest. She appears in Wind Bloom, and she asked us to help her, like, get Albedo to, like, make that flower for her, which I was like, that was a smart play, girl. She literally, like, tricked her man into, like, making her a Wind Bloom, and I'm like, I respect the hustle, girl. But anyway, I don't really think, like, her and the Traveler, like, specifically are that close, so I'm going to put her where her teacher is, and we're going to put her in Indifferent Classmate. Even though she does seem very nice, I just got to go with the stuff we've seen in game, and like, poor Sucrose just hasn't, she hasn't shown up that much in game, to be honest, so that's where we're going to put her. Oh my gosh, no, don't do it to me. So we're on to Child now, who is like, he's something else. He's like, honestly, Child's a mistake, to be honest, but I just am like, I honestly don't know where to put him, because he's obviously an antagonist for the Leeway Archon quest, and we end up fighting him. He does say, like, I do think he genuinely, like, likes the Traveler. It's just, like, he even says, in his own story quest, like, we're just pawns in this bigger game. I'm just doing my duty. Like, it was nothing personal against you why I fought you, you know, which I totally understand. Like, also, Child, the way he, like, bonds with people, or one of the ways, is he likes to fight. That's, like, his favorite activity. So, like, you could see him doing that as, like, kind of, like, he respects you, which is so strange. He's got issues. He did fall into the abyss as a child, so, like, yeah, something got broken when he hit his head down there or something. But anyway, so he's actually, and then in the story quest, I feel like he actually repays quite a few favors for us. Like, he asks us to take care of Tusser, which is a favor, but he, like, compensates us for our time. Like, he gives us that big bag of money, which is Tusser's, like, fun, but obviously some of that is also, like, you know, for the Traveler to keep for themselves, for basically being a babysitter. So he actually repays us for the favor he asks of us, and, like, I don't know, and like, in Labyrinth Warriors, he's there for his own reasons. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to put Child in Indifferent Classmate, because once again, honestly, like, I do think he likes the Traveler as, like, a rival, but at the same time, like, they're always going to be on opposite sides, you know, so it's like, I don't think they can ever really become, like, true friends, you know, they're just going to have to be, like, those rivals that respect each other, and it's like, oh, if, like, we weren't on different sides of this war, we could be homies, but for now, I'm going to put him in Indifferent Classmate, and, like, the reason I'm not putting him in Selfish Asshole is because, like, Child doesn't, like, ask that much of us. I feel like he does set us up with Zhongli in the Leeway Archon quest, and he's kind of like, this guy can help you, but then we mostly run errands for Zhongli. It's not really, like, directly linked to Child anymore, I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since I've played it, so I think this is a good place for him. Toma, hold on, let me just go up. Okay, come on, you know we had to be here, okay? Toma's super nice to the traveler. He literally, like, risks his life to save us. After, like, we try to save him, and then he saves us. It's, like, a whole bunch of saving each other. But I feel like he treats the traveler like the king/queen they are. He's just always really polite to the traveler and, like, trying to, like, make them feel accommodated and stuff. And, you know, I don't know. I just feel like he's a good guy. And like he said, he did risk his life to protect us. So, that's, like, definitely a sign that he actually cares about the traveler and he cares what happens to them. So I feel like that's a good place for Toma. Also, in his Hangout event, I've done, like, I'd say, like, half the endings for that. He's very, like, kind of sweet to the traveler in it, and, like, he apologizes when, like, we end up getting, like, pulled into, like, his work stuff or whatever, and he's like, no, I don't want you to spend, like, your time off, like, worried about this stuff or whatever. And it's, like, that's so sweet. It's, like, him acknowledging, like, the traveler's time is valuable, and that the traveler should be spending their time off doing stuff they like. And so he just seems like a very kind man, and so, like, I feel like this is good. Also, this could be a ship. Why is my brain thinking about ships today? I don't know why, but, like, that would be so crack. They don't even live in the same country, but, like, I don't know. I feel like it could work. It could work, baby. Anyway, let's move on. The traveler, we're just going to leave the traveler down here because the traveler can't treat themselves. I guess we could rank the Abyss sibling. Alright, this is the Abyss sibling, so it's like, it can be either like Abyss Prince Aether or Abyss Princess Lumine. That's a good idea for this. And like, they're a selfish asshole. Like, why can't they at least explain to their sibling why they've completely ditched them? Like, imagine how heartbroken our traveler is. Like, just knowing like your sibling is like on this dark path, but also they don't even give a shit enough to explain what they're doing to you. Like, or like what they're doing in general, and like you're just worried about them all the time and stuff, and it's like, yeah, this one, the Abyss sibling just doesn't care, so they're definitely a selfish asshole to their own brother/sister, depending on who you play. Alright, we're gonna move on to Venti. I feel like Venti doesn't go out of his way to help us, but, well, sometimes he does. Like, when we asked to go to the Midsummer Islands, he was like, Dvalin Express, here we go. But also, like, that was, like, Jean, Barbara asking him, like, some of his most devout followers. So it wasn't, like, just the traveler he was doing that personal favor for. And honestly, we do help him, like, save his city. And he doesn't really repay us in any way or even give us that big a thank you. He does give us some information, but, like, we kind of deserved it after that. So I'm actually going to put Venti, even though I love him. I think he kind of he's kind of a selfish asshole to the traveler. I ain't gonna lie. I can't remember too many times he's going out of his way to specifically help us. So I'm definitely going to put him in there. Alright, Shanglin, I'm going to put here. It's between here and here, but I just feel like a lot of the time Shanglin is doing her own thing and the traveler just shows up, and then the traveler ends up helping her instead of the other way around. So it's like, we're helping her find people to taste test, we're helping her find ingredients, we're helping her do this and that in a cookout, you know, cooking competitions and stuff. And it's like, that's fine, but I just feel like there's not too many times where Shanglin treats the traveler like especially well to go into passes the vibe check. So we're gonna put her here. Xiao, that's interesting. So Xiao is actually pretty kind to the traveler, I think. He obviously, like, grabs us. He saves us at the end of the Leeway Archon quest, and in his story quest, he expresses, like, concern for the traveler. He's like, you should stay away from me and the monsters I'm fighting because they're corrupted with, like, karmic debt, or, like, they're imbued with the power of demons, so that can hurt you. And so it's, like, that's showing, like, concern for the traveler, so that's very sweet of him. And then in the Chasm quest, he obviously, you know, he basically is willing to sacrifice himself for, like, the traveler and everyone there to get them out, which he eventually, like, tries to do. But, like, that's also because he's, like, basically suicidal. So, Xiao, that's sad. But I would say that he definitely cares about the traveler. And, like, he clearly trusts the traveler a lot, but I feel like he's always, like, kind of dumping his own emotional shit on the traveler, but like the traveler kind of asked for it because the traveler's just so nice. So I'm real homie passes the vibe check. I feel like it's between a real homie who passes the vibe check. Let's, for now, we can come back to it. Let's put him for now in passes the vibe check. I feel like for now that's the best place for him because he definitely likes the traveler, but I just can't. I don't remember him going out of his way or, like, helping the traveler with anything the traveler wanted to do. So, like, yeah. I think that's good. Alright, we got my boy Chincho! Excuse me if I'm saying that wrong. Obviously, his name is very difficult to pronounce. I love him. He was part of my original, 4 team, when I first started playing. It was him, Yanfei, Kaya, physical DPS, and Iona. That was my team when I was a beginner player. I know it's a little chaotic, a team, what is even going on there, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was just, picking characters that I like to play as. I still really like playing with him. I just, haven't in a long time because, I have, a million characters. That's the one bad thing of there being so many characters is, most of them are all, extremely fun to use. So it's, I don't know, I just feel like I never have a chance to, use them all as much as I want to. But anyway, Chincho has his own story quest, and, I really like Chincho. He's very heroic. But once again, I don't really remember him going out of his way to help the Traveler with anything. And, he makes some cameos here and there in Lantern Rite Electric Boogaloo, he makes a cameo. In Moon Chase, he makes a cameo. But once again, he's just doing his own thing. So I'm going to say Indifferent Classmate fits him the best. Good person, but I just don't think he treats, the Traveler that well. He doesn't also take advantage, though, So it's he doesn't ask the Traveler for, favors and stuff. At least I'm pretty sure. I think he does ask for one thing that the Traveler's what? In his story quest, but I can't remember the details, so we're going to put him in Indifferent Classmate just to be safe. Alright, Xinyan, she's cool. She's definitely cool. I feel like she treats the Traveler pretty good. She cooks for everybody on the Midsummer Islands, including the Traveler. I think that's very sweet of her. In Labyrinth Warriors, she's very kind to the Traveler, and the Traveler, helps her out. But I don't know if they're, that close. I feel like Xinyan doesn't do anything especially kind for the Traveler. So I'm going to put her in Passes the Vibe Check for sure. I think that's a good place for her. Yai. Nah, she a funky ass bitch. She literally just uses the Traveler and she doesn't really seem to actually give a shit about the Traveler. She literally has no morals. That's literally canon. If you read her companionship story, it says somewhere Yai doesn't consider things right or wrong, just what's entertaining and what's not entertaining. It's red flag. And so she just uses the Traveler to get through to A as a tool basically. And then even in her story quest, we help her out, and then at the end she just takes all her money and makes us spend it on a meal for her, and it's that's the Traveler's money. You shouldn't be doing that. After the Traveler was nice to her and was worried she was feeling sad. So I have a lot of problems with Yai, and she's a sexual harasser. She's just not a good person at all. But in terms of her treatment of the Traveler, I definitely think she takes a lot of advantage, and she doesn't repay them for anything that they've done. So I definitely think that Ayaka Vampire is the right tier for her. She just takes and takes. She sucks all the blood out of the Traveler, all their energy, and she doesn't give anything in return. So I think this is a good place for her. Yanfei, I instinctually want to put her here. She's just kind of doing her life, she's just doing her life. In her story quest, we just kind of help her out with some legal affair, and we kind of insert ourselves. She doesn't ask us for help, so that's good. But and then in the chasm, she's there, but I don't really feel like she's doing anything that much to specifically help the Traveler. She's working to get everyone out alive, because obviously anyone would do that is halfway decent. But yeah, so I think this is a good place for Yanfei. Yoimiya gets a very privileged spot. Where is she? She doesn't just pass a vibe check. She's a real homie. I remember saying this in my Everyone Treats the Traveler Like Trash video, and it's basically Yoimiya is actually one of the only characters in the entire game to ask the Traveler the simple question, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you alright? And express genuine concern for our well-being, especially the Traveler's emotional well-being, which nobody really seems to ever think about. Even though the Traveler man, that's gotta be rough. They're searching for their only sibling who has, rejected their ass, basically, and, won't tell them anything. And, they're a nomad, so they don't have, a lot of chance to make these long-lasting relationships. Maybe that's why they don't have that many friends. Because it's, they only meet people for, so long before they move on to the next country. So it's, really just them and Paimon. And Paimon is, Paimon, so I don't feel like the Traveler can, really confess their, inner, darker tendencies, because they don't want to traumatize Paimon, because we're not sure Paimon's, exact age or emotional intelligence level, but I don't think it's on the Traveler's level, if that makes sense. Paimon's very innocent and childlike, even though it's never confirmed she is a child or anything. She's kind of a fairy creature, but we don't know what a Paimon is. It's never been explained. So, but yeah, I do remember her being quite kind to the Traveler, and also in her story quest, like, she doesn't ask us for help. She just wants to, like, hang out with us and, like, show us around Inazuma, and we just kind of get pulled into her, like, you know, like, underground railroad situation that she's got going on in her house. And once again, I feel like it's more of, like, we're just tagging along with her, and she's being very considerate and kind to the traveler. So I think that Uemiya actually is one of the few real homies out there. So I think this is a good place for her. Alright, Yunjin, let's see. Yunjin is quite kind to the traveler. I'm in another kind of awkward situation because I have not played her hangout event. I'm just not the biggest fan of hangout events. I usually will, like, play through one route, and then if it's, like, kind of boring, I won't do any more. Or if it's, like, a character I like more, I'm a little more interested in, I'll do more routes, you know? But Yunjin, from what I know from the Archon quest, she seems like a nice girl, you know? But I don't remember doing anything specifically, like, you know, crazy nice to the traveler, so I'm just gonna put her in different classmate. I feel like that's a good spot for her. I feel like that's good. Like, do we even need an explanation? Like, we literally, like, save his city twice. The Liyue Archon quest, we do a lot of shit for him. We help him prepare his own funeral, and, like, he never really, like, thanks us for that. He does take us out to a meal a few times, but, like, is that really enough? I'm kind of torn between these two, but I'm gonna go ahead and put him in Ayaka Vampire. So I love out of the 3 Archons, 2 are selfish assholes, and 1 is, you know, a vampire. And I love that, like, every nation is represented down here in the Ayaka Vampire tier. I feel like in most of the tiers, all of the different nations are represented with at least one character in each one, except up here there is no representative from Liyue, and then up here there's no representative from Mondstadt. Now, like, now is, like, time for me to, like, reconsider if anybody should change around, and of course we will do the 3 characters that we're missing. Let's see, does anyone, I'm pretty comfortable with these. I am a little torn with Kazuha. I feel like he should kind of be up here. But I'm going to keep him there because that's what I decided. So, guys, these are my final rankings for these ones. And like I said, I will go and you'll hear me segue into the other characters. Alright, I'm just going to do the few characters that weren't included in that tier list. So we're going to go ahead and do Shinobu first. Shinobu, I've only really known her from the Chasm event. I have not done her hangout quest yet. I already told you I don't really like hangout quests, so I don't do them that often. Anyway, and I decided just to be safe to put her in different classmate. As in the Chasm quest, she is nice and tries to help us get out, but that's also because her boss is in there and also, like, self-preservation and just helping everyone, but that doesn't mean, like, she's necessarily, like, a great homie to the traveler or anything like that. So they don't know each other that well, so I just thought this was a safe bet. So next we're going to go ahead and do Haijo, who also came out from them, and I also decided to put him in a different classmate because literally I wasn't sure if I should include him at all because I literally haven't played his hangout quest, and that's the only place he appears, so I don't know shit about this man, except that he likes to solve crimes. He's a detective, and he actually doesn't like to fight, which I think is interesting. I just got that from his voice lines and just playing with him. So I know he's only met the traveler, like, once canonically in that hangout event, and I'm not even sure what they do together, but I'm assuming it's solve a crime or something like that, which would be Haizo's stuff, not him doing stuff for the traveler. So I'm going to go ahead and put him in a different classmate. So then I thought we would do Paimon. Paimon is obviously not playable, but she's iconic, and she invented the tier of treating the traveler like the king/queen that they are. I love Paimon. She's best girl. She's just amazing. She loves the traveler and always supports them, and, like, that's so sweet. I'm so glad that the traveler has at least one real friend in this world. Sweet Paimon. Then I'm gonna put in Dane. I just thought I'd do Dane for fun, like Dane's Leaf, because I was like, I like him a lot and he's cool. So I actually, after some contemplation, I decided to put him in different classmate because he's honestly sus, so we don't even know if he passes the vibe check. And, like, once again, most of the time, we're just doing stuff, like, that he's already doing, and we just kind of hop in, like, we're helping him hunt down the Abyss Herald, or we're helping him, like, explore that underground city. And it's never like he's going out of his way to do something really nice for us. And he can even be like in the underground city quest, he was a little hostile when the traveler was, like, starting to doubt whether, like, the curse should be reversed or not. Dane even got kind of hostile with them and was like, hey, you need to decide what side you're on, and if we're not on the same side, then, like, basically I'm gonna fight you. Like, and I was like, damn, Dane, like we, after all our time together, but just proves that like they're not actually close friends. They just kind of know each other. So I think in different classmates good for Dane. And then we're gonna go ahead and do Elon real quick. Now, I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right. Please forgive me if I'm not saying her name right. And basically, I'm gonna go ahead and put her in different classmate 2 because I just feel like that's the best place for her. Her and the Traveler aren't especially close. We kind of only end up bonding with her through like complete coincidence when we fall into the chasm together. So I feel like it's good. A lot of people ended up in that tier, but I feel like that's like kind of, I don't know, expected because it's just neutrality, in like a normal game, I would say that like most of the characters that the main character befriends would not be just neutral towards them, but Genshin has a problem with like making believable friendships on screen, especially with the Traveler. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna put Elon in. Thank you so much for checking out my tier list on how different characters treat the Traveler. Obviously, I missed some, like especially some villains, but like I think some of those were obvious, so they didn't need to be said. Like Signora and the Traveler do not have a good relationship, to say the least, and stuff like that. So I just skipped some of those, but I hope you enjoyed. I know it was a long video, and thanks for coming and checking out my channel as always. Check out my longer form video on how the Traveler is treated like trash if you're at all interested. And thanks to my sister for giving me the idea for this video. I hope she likes it. Thanks, guys. Bye bye.